Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining, those of you that are live, and also thanks of you that are watching this on any form of catch up. You can't see me, I don't think. My name is Matt Sullivan. I'm the MD of BIMA, and I've been asked to run a short video to offer an overview on the BIMA Awards with a few helpful tips on how to win an award in 2025. So as you can see from the home screen, it's a big year for us. The BIMA Awards have been around for 40 years, and we've been celebrating awarding work since 1985. And the awards night itself will take place in November, and we'll form a big birthday party to celebrate us, celebrating the best of British ingenuity since the 1980s. Those of you that are a similar age to me might just remember laser discs and booking holidays on teletext. How far we've come. So I'll go through a few slides just to talk about the awards in general, the categories, and offer a few tips to help you win. First of all, a bit of an overview, and it does take a bit of time to craft an entry, but it's worth it. Why do people do it, and why have the awards been so popular for 40 years? Well, our job is to recognise the outstanding work of UK Digital. We're mostly agency-based folk within BIMA, and it's usually used as a new business push to try and win more clients. So rather than just pop past case studies on your creds and on your website, it's even more impactful for your work to be endorsed by a group of impartial judges. It also helps attract and retain talent. And it's a chance for you to benchmark your work against the best in the industry. So lots of benefits to entering the awards themselves. So here are the details, the nuts and bolts, if you like, and what you need to go through in order to get your entry in on time and within a chance of winning. We'll start off with some dates. By the time you read this, we'd have been past the early deadline, and we're probably very close to the entry deadline itself, which is Friday, the 11th of July. That would be midnight on Friday, the 11th. That's an important date because the costs go up after that point, and it does get, but we still do give you a bit more time, more on the costs in the next slide. So get your entry in if you can by Friday the 11th. If you're a BIMA member, you get one free entry as part of your membership benefits. It's really important that you get that entry in by Friday and close the entry, because that gives you your free entry. If you delay it until after the 11th of July, there'll be a £50 charge for BIMA members for that first entry. But you can go back into the entry and amend it and finish it off before the 31st. So whether you're claiming your free entry as a BIMA member or whether you just want to avoid paying the late fee, get your entries in before Friday the 11th, end of play, close your entry, and then go back in over the next 3 weeks or so and finish it off. It just means by closing the entry, you'll get the preferential rates. The late deadline is the 31st of July. Judging takes place in September. Round one is virtual judging. Judges review the work by category individually, usually in the comfort of their own home. And we then take the shortlisted entries and put them through to round two. Round two will take place in different cities over the UK, and then a two-day judging experience in London on the 15th to 19th of September. That's when we bring our senior judges together in person to debate the shortlist and find our winners. More about the judging in a moment. After that, it's very quick. The shortlist is announced the following Monday, and the award ceremony itself will be held at the Bloomsbury Ballroom in London on Thursday, the 20th of November, and that's when we have a big party for our 40th. The entry costs, there's an early bird, general and late fee. We're now in the general fee stage, £285 plus VAT for a member, £390 for non-members. And you can see the late entry fees as well. As per the two slides previous to this, the deadline for them to go up into the late entry fee is Friday, the 11th of July. I think it's also important to point out that these entry fees are per category. So for example, if you have a piece of work that's applicable to 2 or 3 categories, it isn't just the 285 for the 3 categories, it will be 285 times 3. So you pay per category, not per piece of work that is entered. And as I've already said, if you're in BIMA membership, you get one free entry. The type of work that we're hoping to attract into the BIMA Awards, well, BIMA itself operates in this convergence of technology and creativity, which is broad, but that's broken down into nearly 30 categories, and you can find them all online, and they're on a slide that will come up in a moment. But other eligibility criteria is that the work must have been live, completed, redeveloped, and shown your measurable progress, i.e. your results, since the 1st of January last year. So that's the 1st of January 2024. Now, the work could have launched before that, but we really want to see the results based between this date back to the 1st of January 2004. Now, BIMA stands for the British Interactive Media Association, and we're about championing British creativity. So submissions must be work from a British agency or British client, or from an overseas agency or client that's been run in the British market. So if you're an overseas agency and the work was run overseas with no British element to it, the BIMA Awards isn't for you. And as I said before, we operate in the convergence of digital, in the convergence of technology and creativity. So the work must have a digital or a technology component to it. The kind of chronological journey, if you like, and entering an award would first of all start thinking about the work that you're most proud of that's been active over the last year, and then you start to look at the categories that in the BIMA Awards and start to allocate the work that you're most proud of to an appropriate category. Once you've done that and you've spoken to your client about the idea of entering the awards, you then need to start to get it on the awards platform itself. You may have a login to the BIMA Awards website, which will enable you to access content and events through the website, but the platform is different to that. It's a separate login. The login is available through the website itself if you just go to the awards page. It's a company called AwardForce, and it's pretty self-intuitive, and you will just work your way through the entry process, selecting the categories that you'd like to go for. You input your copy, your entry text, upload any supporting material, and then you pay, all within the platform itself. So category selection, there are 3 groups of categories. As I said before, this convergence of technology and creativity is big and broad. Essentially, the first category is campaign-based. That's for mostly agencies that are running comms campaigns for their clients and producing work for their clients. And that's brand experience, Gen AI, immersive, digital media, social content, and performance media. The second category is more about product design and build as opposed to campaign-based work. So we've got product development, product build, transformation product, the trailblazers, digital design and UI, and user experience. They're all very self-explanatory. Trailblazers, as you might expect, is for work just slightly earlier in a stage. So don't worry too much about the results in the trailblazers. What we're really looking for is the adoption of new and exciting technology and ideas. And the third group would be built up, first of all, by the different sectors. So most people, when they enter the awards, they would select a sector first, and then a campaign or a product that's most relevant to them. And after the sectors, you can see some special awards: innovative use of AI, data, inclusive design, social for good, agency campaign, and technology of the year. There's one extra award that you don't have to pay to enter. It's run by our Creative Council, and we're just looking for pure, unadulterated creative success. And you can opt in to this award, and you can also be selected through the judging process, and it goes through to the BIMA Creative Council, which will select their winner and hand it out on the night. But you don't have to pay any extra to enter this award itself. I mentioned before the judges, the entries are judged in 2 rounds, online and in round 2 in person. So no physical examples will be seen in round 1, and it's very, very seldom that we will accept physical samples in round 2. So the judging criteria itself, traditionally the BIMA Awards have always been judged in 3 criteria, and they will be weighted equally across all the categories. And those three criteria were innovation, craft, and impact. 2 years ago, we believe we were the first awards to do this. We introduced a fourth criteria because we believe rather than just have a sustainability category, every award that gets entered into the BIMA Awards should be evaluated to some extent on its impact on the planet. Most of the categories, if you go into them, they will show you the weighting, and most of the categories are weighted equally between innovation, craft, and impact, and 10% of the scoring will be allocated to planet. Sometimes that will change, so keep an eye out. For example, if we're looking for more results-based campaigns, the weighting might shift more towards impact as opposed to craft. For more creatively led categories, the weighting might shift more towards craft rather than impact. But there's usually a variation of all four criteria in every category. That's how the judges are asked to score them. They score 0 to 10 in each of the four criteria. 10% goes to planet, and the weighting will change for the other three. The awards night is in November. Everybody gets invited along. It's at Bloomsbury Ballroom in London. You'll receive a PR pack. We PR the winners themselves. All of your case studies will appear online if you're shortlisted and you win. And we'll host additional events throughout the rest of 2025 and into 2026 to showcase the work. So we really try and shout from the rooftops the fact that you've won and you've achieved success with your work. Nearly done, but there are some pitfalls to avoid. Sorry for those of you that enter regularly and may find this a little bit patronizing, but these issues come up year after year. And when judges spend a lot of time reviewing the work, getting this feedback can be sometimes a little bit frustrating. So just some basic pieces of advice, really. Number one, I mean, you need to get your client involved. It's very unlikely, I think, that you'd place an entry without your client being aware of it. But quite often that happens so late and people miss the deadline because they're still waiting sign-off from the client. But it's not just getting sign-off from the client. If you get your client involved early, helping craft the campaign, make winning a joint experience for them, often it will improve the quality of the entry, that you'll get more information, especially with regards to results from the client, and they'll be invested in coming with you. The entry form itself can sometimes be a little formulaic because there are certain questions and certain word counts that you need to adhere to. But we'd urge you to be bold and tell a story and be as creative as you can. I often try and put yourself in a judge's shoe, especially in round one. You know, it's probably 10, 11 p.m., 2 or 3 days before that they've got to submit all of their scores, and they've already read 20 entries. And things start to sort of blur into this sort of area of mediocre. And you really need to stand out from that. So be bold and exciting with your storytelling. Give your campaign a catchy name, because that's how it will be referred to in round 2 judging as well. Please share as many results as you can. Metrics where possible, and always align to the objectives. So at the start of your entry, outline the objectives of the work, whether it's product build or a social media campaign. There'll be some objectives as part of the brief, and just demonstrate that you've hit them. In the entry process, there is an area of the form which is strictly for judges' eyes only. So most of the content that you provide for your entry, should it be successful, will appear in the public domain and on the BIMA website, but we would never show anything that's been put into the judges' eyes only box. And all judges are asked to sign an NDA. Check and double check for errors. Sounds pretty obvious, right? But the times this comes up and pieces of work are generally deemed really great, but the entry doesn't live up to the standard of the work itself. And I think sometimes, meant in the nicest possible way, the entry copy itself is delegated to somebody quite junior in the business because everybody's busy and it's close to deadline. But if you've got the budding copywriters in your agency or in your client, please give it to them. And just check and double check that passwords work in your supporting uploads, that there are no grammatical errors. Please don't sort of over-index on industry terminology, just to be clear and concise with your entry. And if you do upload any collateral to YouTube or Vimeo, please also include passwords. And always try and refrain from putting your agency name in that video and in that password, and of course in your entry copy itself. 6, put yourself in the judge's shoes. Imagine if you're that person sitting there at 10:30 at night, going through 20 entries. How will your entry jump out? How will your name jump out? Make sure that they understand straight away what the objectives are so they can align the objectives and give you a good score and impact at the end of the session. A couple of other things that do come up. We quite often get asked if people need to upload a video. The answer is no. Some people do, and if you've got the resources to produce a video, I think you absolutely should, because you can use it online, use it as part of your creds, and it lives far beyond the awards entry itself. But it doesn't need a video at all. But what can be frustrating for judges when people upload supporting material in like 20 individual files. So, for example, 20 individual JPEG or PDF files is cumbersome for a judge to review. So put all of that content, put all of those images and those videos into one PDF, one PowerPoint, and just add it to the slides. So the judge only has to open one document, and they will then review all of the supporting material in the order in which you want them to review it. And also it means that you can give every image and video some commentary as well. So please just make the whole process as easy as you can for the judges. That's it. Some basic guidelines. Please remember the dates. Please remember the costs, £50 extra if you're a BIMA member, those pitfalls, and good luck with your entry. We hope to see you on stage collecting an award in November. Thanks very much.